Hi, I'm Chase. Welcome to the ARRI booth at Cine Gear 2025. I'll give you a quick little tour of what we're showing here. Right here we have an Alexa 35 with a signature zoom and the new Nia 1, which is the network interface adapter. This is a cool new product we announced just a few days ago. If you haven't already, take a look at the tech talk we have online for all the details of what it does. If you come this way, we can kind of go through this section. Over here, we've got our camera stabilizer products. So we've got the Trinity 2, we've got the Artemis, and so these are our camera stabilizer products that allow you to stabilize any camera, ARRI or non-ARRI camera, in different ways. The Artemis is more like a traditional Steadicam style product, and then over here on the right, the Trinity mixes the mechanical stabilization with electronic stabilization with a gimbal at the top, and this is the second version of the Trinity. Over here, on this side, we've got the new SkyPanel X. That's been out for almost about a year now. SkyPanel X is a hard light, which makes it very unique in the ability to not only have it as a hard light, but also as a soft light. Come this way. Over here, we have what's called the Enzo lens section. So the Enzo primes are our new set of prime lenses that came out last October. They are really small, compact, lightweight, relatively affordable in the ARRI world, and that makes them fantastic pairing with the signature prime. So they're a bit like, in a way, the little brothers, if you will, of the signature prime family of lenses. They all have an incredible close focus. It's a 1:4 magnification, so across almost the entire set, you have an ability to get very, very close to your subject. You don't have to worry about close focus, which one is further, which one is closer. It's consistent across the entire set. We go from 10.5 millimeters all the way up to 280 millimeters, and the 250 millimeters. So it goes all the way up from 10.5 to 250 millimeters. The 250 millimeter, we have an extender that goes to 1.4, makes it a 350 millimeter, and we have another extender that goes 2 times, which makes it a 500 millimeter. So you can get from 10.5 to 500 millimeters with this entire family of lenses, and they look fantastic. They have a fantastic look that can also be changed with rear elements that will detune the lenses to look more like vintage lenses. I encourage you to come check it out over with ArtStation. Over here is some of the Enzo lenses themselves. You can see they're quite small. There's the extenders for the 250 I was mentioning. There's the vintage elements. So these are the glass elements that magnetically attach to the back of the lens to detune them, to make them look like more vintage elements. Then we come this way. Then come on in. Over here we have the Alexa 265, which is available through our friends at ARRI Rentals. This is their Alexa 265, which is the next generation of the Alexa 65 camera. It's based on the Alexa 35 platform, but with the 65 millimeter sensor instead. So you can see it looks kind of similar to the Alexa 35 body, but again, it has that much larger 65 millimeter sensor. But what's really cool about it is it's obviously a lot smaller than the bigger, older Alexa 65. And then if we go this way, we've got an Alexa 35 over here, and this Alexa 35 has the operator set of accessories, which is designed for handheld operation, especially when you're living with the camera on your shoulder a lot. It also has the master grips on the front. The master grips here are allowing you to have full lens control, which I think is really fantastic. So you can do that all from the tips of your finger, but you can also have camera control on here for different camera functions. We have a signature prime here, and then we also have this camera specifically is an Alexa 35 base camera. You can tell by the blue knob, and this allows you to have a lower entry point into the Alexa 35 family, and you can upgrade it with licenses. So this is the Nia right here, and the Nia is a L-bus to IP converter that takes our L-bus lens control protocol and it converts it to Ethernet as a standard IP protocol that you can push over great distances with very low latency. So what's really cool about the Nia is you can connect it to any camera, not just an ARRI camera, and you can use it to push the lens control wherever you need to be over a standard Ethernet cable. It also has a USB-C port, which you can use a USB-C to Ethernet adapter if you need a second Ethernet port. You can configure it very simply on the device. It's got this great little GUI that tells you which connectors are active and what index letter for what camera is being used. So this is for a camera, as we can see. You have a little touchscreen that you can see what the different settings are. You can even adjust settings with the touchscreen. But if you want to have a full control of the little unit, you can use any web browser plugged in via Ethernet to your iPhone, your iPad, via an adapter or a computer, and you can configure it deeper with its own web remote GUI that lets you change all the settings on it. The Nia will be great for underwater work where you need to have all that lens and camera control routed up to the surface. The other thing that the Nia does really well is you can actually use it to control settings of other non-ARRI cameras, like for example, Sony cameras like the Burano, or even Blackmagic cameras with licenses that allow you to have full camera control of those cameras with our Hi5 hand unit, which I think is pretty cool. Another cool feature is that you can actually use it for multi-lens synchronized control. So for what I mean by that is you could have 2 cameras in an array or up to 26 cameras in an array, and you can control with one Hi5 hand unit, focus, iris, or zoom, and it will synchronize across all of those connected cameras. So one hand unit will drive it across the system, which is pretty cool. With the other Nia one on the other side, you could even make it a wireless transmitter. So let's say you want to go Ethernet out to another section, and you can actually, what you could do is you could say, you know what, I don't want it to be Ethernet, I can go into a wireless adapter, Ethernet to wireless to wherever you need to go, and then decode it on the other side by simply putting the other Nia one on the other side of the wireless connection, and then into the Hi5 via L-bus. And what's really cool is it's a low latency system, so it works over great distances, so you can have focus pullers wherever they need to be, like especially useful if you're doing multicam, not just underwater, but if you're doing it in a live environment where there's a lot of interference and you need your focus puller to be far away, you can use the Nia one to push that data over a standard IP Ethernet connection to do focus wherever they can, wherever they need to be, for example, which could be quite far away. And that's it for me. Thanks.